Hey guys, it's going to be my chapter review to One Punch Man 83, The Hard Road Uphill. Now this chapter was insane. I hope you've read this chapter. If you've not read the chapter and you're watching this review, get your ass in check. Read the chapter. It was awesome. This is going to be my first 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 chapter, 100% rating chapter that I've ever given on this channel, on my last channel, or these are not yeah, so that's the only 100% rating I've given, because this chapter was sick. Murata's on fire. This was like a 57-page chapter, so damn son, this guy's going in, and I'm gonna try and keep this review short, and I'm gonna try and not gush as much, but it was a really good chapter. So let's get straight into it. So first we see Garou really struggling against an enhanced Genos. Enhanced Genos. Genos has not only been enhanced physically, like with all his physical modifications, which we'll come on to later. He's grown mentally as well by a seemingly oblivious statement made by Saitama. Saitama's like, you have to be prepared mentally as well as physically, and Genos took that to heart. He's like, you know what? I gotta be prepared mentally. I gotta be prepared every second of every day to be jumped by like monsters, and I gotta be prepared. And I gotta be ready, and none of these meager friggin' surprise attacks will catch me off guard. So Saitama said something really like just in a passing manner, just to get Genos off his back, and Genos was like, oh, you know what, this is meaningful. So I like that side of Genos. He's sick like that. And I love that Garou still had his wits about him though. He was still maneuvering and stuff, like maneuvering really well. He picked up his leg to guard an attack by Genos' rocket fist and things like that. But he also maneuvers himself in front of a passed out glasses when Genos was about to incinerate his ass. So Genos obviously stopped his attack. But then I also really enjoyed seeing that Genos has more control of himself in fight, and he's able to adjust mid-punch. Well, he's able to adjust mid-incinerate, to a punch. And he keeps up with the flowing water rock smashing fist, which is a very explosive and extremely destructive style. We've seen it before used by Bang and by Garou all the way through. And I really like the fact that Genos himself lures Garou into an incineration attack, and you realize that even though Genos has taken L after L after L, he's really gained a lot of battle sense, a lot of battle experience, and that's really what Genos is displaying in this chapter. He's not the loser who you'll take him for. So what I also really enjoyed seeing was, because we were all saying that Genos was gonna get his ass handed. That's the kind of trope that Genos has been following. He gets all these enhancements and stuff. He comes back and he fights someone, he destroys someone, then he gets wrecked. So that's what we were all kind of waiting to see, the Garou just get Garou wreck Genos and stuff like that. But it didn't really happen, so I was really happy about that. And I did mention last chapter that I didn't think that Genos would get wrecked. I said it's a high possibility, but I don't see Garou kind of getting himself out of this one. So then what I also really enjoyed was seeing how much of an animal Garou is. This guy is an absolute beast. Even Genos notices in this chapter. He's dedicated all his energies to evade me, and he waits for the opportunity to counterattack. That's a very intuitive thing to do mid-fight for someone who's basically on the verge of death, which is what Garou is currently on. He can't even see straight at the end of this chapter. And this really only comes with experience, and he is a master in hand-to-hand combat. But he's also learning Genos' movements extremely swiftly. Like, it's a very Luffy / Goku-esque type of characteristic, and even a Naruto-esque type of movement, and any shonen main character really, who've all had immense battle experience. They learn to adapt themselves, and they learn to read movements very swiftly and adapt themselves and adjust accordingly. Add to that the fact that Garou has this inhuman battle sense, and his insane instinct. His instinct is on point in this chapter. Like I said before, when he raises his leg to defend his face, when he freaking dodges the incineration from the ground, Garou is a monster, and he's not even a monster yet. I don't know if he becomes a monster. I don't read the webcomics, so no spoilers for that, but he's just an absolute monster. He's insane. So then we kind of get a chill part of the chapter, which was also really funny, and it kind of just settles us a bit right before we go back into the fight between Genos and Garou. And we get to see Saitama versus King. Now, this was hilarious. To be honest, I was really concerned when I saw this part of the chapter, because we see that Saitama loses again to King in that fighter game they're playing. It's like some weird game where there's this Oni against some sort of like magical girl thingy. It's sort of like some magic shoujo girl. I don't know what they call that type of genre, but you know what I'm talking about. And Saitama loses to King when when King's on like 1 HP or something. So I thought this was going to closely mirror what happens to Genos in his fight against Garou. You know, Garou's on 1 HP, but he wrecks Genos just like King wrecked Saitama. So I was like, oh, come on, don't kind of juxtapose those ideas, you know. I don't want to see that. Don't do that to me, man. So Saitama's face after his defeat is hilarious too. It's kind of it closely matches my face right after, you know, competitive on Overwatch. Yeah. So so then we find out from King about the location device that Glasses has utilized, and we've seen Glasses use it now only on this one occasion, and the device he used to summon Genos essentially. So it's a device made by the Hero Association, and it's still in its infancy, but it's been given to heroes who, if they're in need of help, they press the button and their location is basically shared to everybody with this device. The information can also be provided, i.e. This type of monster, I might need a hero of this caliber, of this nature, like if they have a flame ability against some sort of ice monster or some shit. But Glasses was basically too dead to provide any information, you know. He was half dead basically. Saitama's need to vent his rage on a monster was funny too. He's like, oh yes, there's a monster, let's go fuck it up. And I was like, you know, this guy, he's pissed off because of his 81-0 record against freaking King, and King's the one with the 81 wins. And then King, actually intelligent as he is, shows some concern about the sanitation of the surrounding area. That was also quite funny, and it's just the interaction between King and Saitama, you know, because it's hilarious, because one's like an otaku hardcore gamer, King, who's very private and kind of reserved regarding his public appearances and stuff. King, you know, he's an S-class hero, and he's not really a typical S-class hero in the sense that he can't actually do anything against any form of monster. He's incredibly weak. And then we've got the other guy, Saitama, who is so bored with life, and their joint attitude of not really giving a shit about anything is just hilarious. It's like they're the two straight men, and it's freaking hilarious all the way through. So I'm just enjoying their interactions, and every time we see them, we see some funny shit. Then we see the kind of this part was actually really funny as well. Saitama's sudden concern for Genos was subtle, but it was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. Even he doesn't believe in Genos, and that doubled my anticipation of seeing Genos getting wrecked. But I was like, how can Genos get wrecked against a Garou that's half dead? So even he doesn't believe in Genos. So I was getting that vibe that Genos was probably going to get wrecked, but it never did come to pass. So then we come back to the fight. Garou says that at the level he's at, Genos is a tough fight. Now I was like, all right, that's a fair thing to say, but you are at this moment in time, Garou, half dead. You know, obviously it's going to be a hard fight for you, but if you are at full health, I don't think Genos would stand a chance. Garou is an absolute beast. We see another one of Genos's. We see another one of Garou's insane like battle tendencies and abilities. Just like Goku and just like Luffy, he can really once he's seen something done, he can imitate it incredibly fast, and he can copy things he's seen in fight very well. So he impersonates the movements of Watchdog Man, which really threw him off when they were fighting, and it must have been one of the reasons why he got wrecked. Unfortunately for him, he does actually catch Genos off guard with this, and he grabs Genos' arm and rips it off. But one of Genos' recent upgrades included remote control limbs. So his arm just kind of pops off, but it grabs onto Garou's throat and pins him against a tree. So I was like, yo, this is sick. And then it actually restrains him as well, which is really cool to see. So it shows that I really like this upgrade, because it shows that Genos is aware that he keeps actually losing limbs, and we've seen this time and time again, and he would prefer it if they were detachable, you know. So instead of someone coming in and swiping his arm off, once someone's coming in, he could probably just like fire it off or something like a cannon. So it makes sense to be detachable. Was it detachable before? I thought it was detachable before, but it turns out that this might be a new addition. So it was a new upgrade to Genos. Garou's will to survive was beautiful to see again, and the guy can't even walk straight. His will to survive was awesome. You know, when he's attached to the tree and he taps his legs against the tree and the tree buckles. That was amazing. The guy can't even walk straight because he can't handle the weight of his balls. You know, it seems also that the tree couldn't hack the weight of his balls, and it just collapsed under the sheer size and density. The tree just blew up under the size of his. I was like, yo, man, this guy is balls off. He's dragging him across the ground as he's walking, man. This guy's absolute monster. And anyone noticed, by the way, no one seemed to mention this in the mainstream comments, and I haven't really read the Reddit yet. But anyone notice that Garo's freaking eye changes color? I mean, it's an obvious thing. It's right there in the panel, it's zoomed in on and everything. His eye changes color, his right eye, as well as his hair. Now, something tells me that his hair has gone red. Just the hue of the black and white, it just tells me that it's gone red. But it could just very well be that his blood mixed in with his pale hair. But it could also be that my boy is undergoing some form of transformation, you know? Now, if he's undergoing some form of transformation, I'm all for it. Transformations are always a sick thing, unless you get to Dragon Ball Super, which is a bit. I don't read it, but I've heard of things that are going down, and it's like, man, you gotta respect the original content. Come on, I'll come on to that like never. So so he seems to be undergoing some form of transformation. Is he undergoing monsterification naturally? That seems to be what seems to be going down with Garou. And if that's true, this opens a whole new kind of worms. From the first episode, from the first chapter, we see that Crab Lanty guy who like ate so much lobster he turned into a lobster monster. And we see here now that Garou, he's fighting against all these heroes to become a monster, and now he seems to be becoming a monster. With red hair, red eye, he seems to transform. Especially if you look at that last panel before he gets wrecked. So on the 56th page, the second to last page, you see him really, really look like a monster. So it seems to be that he's undergoing monsterification naturally, and it just seems to be a natural phenomenon in this world. There's a whole bunch of theories on what type of thing it is, like whether you wish to be something, just naturally, whether it naturally occurs or not. But it seems to be that naturally occurring monsters do result from humanity at this point in time. I don't know whether that's going to be a 100% thing or not, but it's definitely, we're going to have to find out the origin of monsters at one point or another, and that does seem to be a legit theory right now. Garou's disdain for the Monster Association was still evident. It was still present. It remains. And is it because he only actually wants to show the world that some monsters have a point? Like the whole you're ruining our seas with your pollution, you're ruining the atmosphere, all this, all that. There's that guy in like episode 1 or chapter 2, 3, I don't know what it was. So it seems like he doesn't agree with the majority of the monsters, but he does want the voices of the ones who are actually correct to be heard. So he wants to be a voice for the voiceless monsters who actually have a reason to want to kick ass, Genos also seems, Genos, we see actually, one of his new upgrades is that he has a retractable blade recessed in his forearms. That's a nice thing to see as well. It would be nice to have seen that. Genos, with all these upgrades, it seems that he could have actually taken out Garou if he really wanted to, and his incinerate and stuff, he was firing at him, but I think he could have actually taken him out. But what we come on to later is what really the chapter was building up to. Garou actually then learns of Saitama. It's the beginnings of what is bound to be an awesome fight down the line. Garou versus Saitama. It's going to be the two most powerful beings in this manga. I think it's going to be at that point to date. I'm just going to go toe to toe, and I think Garou will actually do really well. But maybe Saitama. Well, obviously Saitama's going to win, but the fashion of it we don't know. It's probably going to have some funny twist. And then we have what the chapter was building up to. Bang and his older brother, I think it's his older brother, looks like his older brother, make a surprise entry just before Genos incinerates Garou. Now I was like, yo, damn boy, Bang has finally caught up to Garou. He's been searching for this guy for a while, and Bang's brother is a freaking savage. That monster got turned into like a steak variety pack before he could even blink. I was like, what the fruit? Like that monster, that Cyclops, that double Cyclops looking dude, the Biclops, if you want to call that, the Biclops dude, he like steak variety pack straight away. He just gets wrecked, and you really see after Bang and his brother come into the chapter they debut, you really see how far Garou has devolved, or how far he's advanced in what would be in his sense. When you see Garou in that second to last page, like I mentioned before, he lunges at Bang like a rabid beast. Now you have to take into account he knew he was up shit creek without a paddle, so he was desperate. But he really, really looks like a monster in that second to last page, and I think it might be the second to last or the third to last panel actually. Then we have the chapter almost finishing. The second to last panel is flowing water, rock smashing fist, and then you see Garou getting wrecked. It was a beautiful end to what was a perfect chapter for me. So then to kind of wrap this all up, I think this is like, it's been a pretty 15 minutes, holy crap. So to wrap this up, just one last point. Saitama and King are actually going to arrive at that point soon, because Saitama wants to get out and help Genos, because he's got this weird vibe, and he's like, oh, I don't think Genos is going to be okay. So Saitama and King are going to go to where Genos is. So how the hell is Garou going to escape? Genos is already there. Bang's brother is setting up a steak store, slicing and dicing through all these monsters and demons, whatever. Bang is at full health, and he's kicking the shit out of Garou. He can't even see straight. And then Saitama and King are eventually going to come. King's going to be worthless. Actually, maybe King might be taken hostage. That would be a really good plot point. But Saitama being there, he'd probably just be able to outpace all of them at light speed and just knock out Garou. So unless some monster comes and freezes time, or can teleport, or can fly like the speed of light at a speed which surpasses like Saitama's sight, or some shit like that, Garou is royally screwed. But we know that he's got to get out of this mess, because he's not done yet. We know he's not done yet. So I just really want to know how he's going to get out of this. And like I said, Murata has been killing it. This chapter was awesome. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you've come here from my last channel, subscribe, all that. Please subscribe again. And if you're new to this channel and you want to see more content like this, then subscribe your ass off, man. It helps me a lot, and I just enjoy talking about stuff like this. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will see you guys in a bit.